Good morning, boys and girls. You're welcome to yet another session, A01 Common Course, Essential English Language Skills. Last session, we started the fourth module, namely speaking skills. I explained to you how important it is to develop speaking skills as far as a good communicator is concerned. In a context like that of ours, our L1 being Malayalam, and many a time we may have to use English as a language of communication, it is essential as learners of English to understand how to develop good speaking, how to develop your speaking skills. In the last session, I was trying to give you an introduction to speaking skills. Why is it is important? How it is divided into two functions. Speaking skills have two functions, and those functions are basic functions, transactional functions. I gave you examples, and the next function is the interpersonal function of speaking skills. It was in that context that I told you that man, being a social animal, he has to talk to or communicate to his fellow beings at home, in the college, in the playground, at business houses, where we go to buy things, etc. We may have to use the language, and the way you use the language determines your personality many a time, and that is why learning correct speaking habits is something very necessary that has to be developed by a learner of the language. I gave you some examples of how to respond to some of our day-to-day situations. I gave you some examples on the board, and I tried to read to you some of the situations and the correct responses to it. Now we are coming to part 1, everyday transactions, which is divided into 7 frames. The second part is academic communication, which is divided into 3 frames. So first, we are going to deal with everyday transactions, which is divided into 7 frames, and we are going to deal with the first frame. What is this first frame? Now, it is very, very important. Sounding very polite. Sounding very polite is something very necessary as far as a communicator is concerned. Now, asking questions and replying to them form a great chunk of our everyday communication or day-to-day communication. We ask questions. Can you imagine the situations when we ask questions? We ask questions to seek help, to get information, direction, to get some money. In all these situations, we ask questions. Since conversational skills are integral to building up relationship, that is, you build up the relationship, a cordial relationship with others, when you speak in a very polite language to them, by which they are impressed by the way in which you talk to them. That is why Learning to speak in a polite manner is very important as far as a learner of the language is concerned. Now, sometimes some people offend others by not being polite. Well, this polite way of speaking the language, I would like to tell you one of my experiences when I was a student at the University of Mysore. One day, I went to my head of the department, Professor C.D. Narasimhaya, and waited at the door and knocked at the door. I asked him the question, "Can I come in?" You should pay attention to the words I used. Can I come in? The professor, a learned man, a very polite man, a very polished gentleman of the first order, he told me, "Francis, you can come in, but not now." I hope you understand the situation. I wanted to meet my HOD. I went to his room, knocked at the door, and I asked the question. The question I asked was, "Can I come in?" The reply he gave me was, "Francis, you can, but not now." You know the reason why he told me, "You can, but not now"? It was because he wanted to make me understand that the question I asked him was not polite enough, which he expected from a student like me. Later, I understood that my question should have been, "May I come in?" "May I come in" should have been my question instead of "Can I come in?" I just cited this example for you to understand how polite language establishes your personality and also other people's understanding about you as a person. That is, using polite language is something very necessary for a good communicator, especially in the context of Kerala where we live, where English for us is L2, language 2. So, I would like to go into details about how we can use the language politely, sounding very polite. Now, there is a small conversation. Please listen to the conversation. Roshan goes to a bank to open a new account and speaks to the receptionist. Have a look at the dialogue given below and underline or pay attention to the expressions or phrases used for polite questions and replies. This is to highlight how important it is to sound polite when you are conversing, when you are speaking to others. Receptionist: "Excuse me, can I help you?" When he sees a customer in front of him, the receptionist asks the question, "Excuse me, can I help you?" Roshan: "Yes, I want to see the manager. If you don't mind, please give me an appointment with him." Now, not all of a sudden break into the room, the manager's room, and talk to him. You need to have a prior appointment to speak to a manager of a bank who has so many other duties to perform. So, Roshan asked the question, well, I want to see the manager. If you don't mind, please give me an appointment with him. Receptionist, could you please tell me why you want to meet the manager? Because if the help the manager can extend to you, maybe I am also able to help you. Could you please tell me what it is about, that why you want to meet the manager? Roshan, I would like to open a bank account. I would like to open a bank account. Receptionist, well, why, you don't need to meet him for that. You see, you don't need to meet him for that. Please have a seat. Would you mind showing me your ID proof? Would you see how polite? Would you mind showing me your ID proof? Roshan, not at all. I shall be grateful if you can get a copy of it from that photocopier. If you can get a copy from that photocopier, I'll be very grateful to you. Receptionist, with pleasure. See, a beautiful expression. With pleasure, I can help you. I hope you can fill in this application form in English. Please fill in the application form in English. Roshan, could you help me to complete? Would you help me to complete the form, please? Receptionist, certainly. Yeah, I can help you. Why don't we do it together? Please tell me the details and I'll write them down for you. The receptionist is ready to help you. Roshan, that would be great. Your offer to help me, that would be great. Could I ask you a doubt? Receptionist, sure, go ahead. Roshan, is it possible for me to propose my younger son's name as a nominee? I have a doubt. Here, there is a column. Fill in the name of the nominee. In this context, I have a doubt. Is it possible for me to propose my younger son's name as a nominee? Receptionist, I am afraid you can't do that straight away. I am afraid. That's a beautiful expression. Which is very polite in nature. I am afraid you can't do that straight away. Roshan, no problem. Then let me do it later. Thank you so much. Receptionist, you are welcome. After 2 minutes, your account is active now. So quickly. The service is so quick that the account is ready for operation. Thank you very much. You are welcome. Your account is active now. Is there anything more I can do for you? Roshan, no, I'm fine. Thanks very much. You have been very helpful to me. Receptionist, my pleasure. So, you listen to the conversation. And you also experienced the kind of politeness being shared both by the receptionist and the customer, Roshan. So this is the way how we use polite language and impress others by the way we speak. I would like to highlight four different expressions here. Number one is the expression, I am afraid. It has nothing to do with fear or afraid. See, I am afraid. This is a beautiful expression. This expression has nothing to do with being afraid. This colloquial form means I admit with regret. I am afraid means I admit with regret. Say a different situation I'll give you. Now, can I take this? Somebody comes to the theater near where you have occupied a seat, and he or she asks you, can I occupy this seat? You tell him tell him or her very politely, I am afraid it is occupied by someone else. I am afraid you can't occupy this seat because it is occupied by someone else. So that is the meaning of the expression, I am afraid. Another expression which I would like to highlight is the expression, I am fine. I am fine. Usually we use this expression that in the context that when somebody asks you, how are you? You answer, you respond to it by saying, I am fine, equal to I am good. Same thing, I am good, I am fine. But this expression is used in a different context also. That is, when you tell somebody that you do not want their help. If you do not want their help, you use the same expression. Say for example, in a situation like this, that is, when you are given a form to fill up, you read the form and you understand that all the items in the form you can fill it up by yourself. Somebody asks you, come and asks you, can I help you to fill the form? You respond to it by saying, I am fine. I am fine means this time I do not want your help, I can help myself. You understand the meaning of I am fine. The next expression a beautiful expression which I would like to discuss is the expression, my pleasure. Somebody, your pen falls down from your pocket. Somebody bends down and takes the pen and gives it to you. You respond to him by saying, thank you very much. The person who receives your gratitude responds back and says, my pleasure. It is my pleasure to help you. Again, with pleasure. With pleasure is another, almost the same meaning. With pleasure, it is only my pleasure to help you. My pleasure. Now, this expression means gladly and is used in conversation. Conversational English to express polite agreement or acceptance, to express acceptance or polite appreciation. Now, you agree with somebody, you say with pleasure. Now, can we go for a movie this evening? With pleasure. That is, I agree with your suggestion. Now, to conclude this frame, that is the frame on using polite language, sounding very polite, I would like to read to you a few expressions. Would you lend me your pen, please? What would be your response? Certainly. Why not? Could you please show me the way to office? Yes, of course, with pleasure. I shall be grateful if you could lend me some money. Oh, perhaps not now. I don't have money. I don't carry money now. So I shall be grateful if you could lend me some money. I'm sorry, I am not able to help you this time. Do you think it would be all right if I stay away from the party? No, that's a beautiful way of asking for excuse. I have some other engagements, and so would you mind if I stay away from the party today because of some personal inconveniences? Oh yes, you can or you may. Would you mind carrying my bag for a while? Yes, with pleasure. Yes, of course. Would you mind if I open the window? It's very chill and you are feeling suffocated and you want to open the window. So you ask the permission of your co-traveler. That is, would you mind if I open the window? Yes, I don't mind. No, the response would be, no, I don't mind. You can open. Will it bother you if he accompanies me? My brother, my younger brother is with me and we are going for a movie. Do you mind? Will you bother if he accompanies us or if he accompanies me? Maybe you can say, maybe another time, not today. Maybe another time. May I use your mobile phone? Oh no, it is short of charge, or it is not usable now. Sorry to bother you, but could you give me some water? Yes, with pleasure, of course. Were you in my place, how would you deal with it? I would have dealt with in the same way as you have dealt with. In the same way. Is it okay if he uses your mobile phone for a call? It is all right. Oh, that's fine. Because you can use my mobile phone. So a response for that would be, oh, that's okay. You are free to use my phone. Now, I was all this time trying to tell you about how important it is to use a polite language. By using polite language, for others, it will sound very polite. Politeness is a pleasing gesture for anybody for that matter. So a learner of language should be able to use the language in a polite manner so that it will be impressive to the listeners, it will be impressive to the people whom you come into contact with in your everyday life. With this, I stop for the moment, and maybe in the next session I'll be continuing with being polite while talking. That is frame one of everyday transactions, and I'll go on to proceed with frame 2. I'll complete frame 1 and proceed with frame 2 in the next session we meet. Till then, keep well. Goodbye.